Juan Mendez Scott's The Guest Room. Chapter 1. Replaced by a looming sense of danger. Preston was his usual silent self, the hum of the air conditioning truck filling the void as we traveled down Route 228 toward Fort Washington, Maryland, our home. I stole glances at him throughout the ride, my eyes lingering on his impassive profile. Finally, he caught my gaze and turned to look at me. "So you think our house is next?" I asked, trying to mask the tremor in my voice. I'm sure it betrayed me. Preston glanced at me, a slight grin tugging at the corner of his mouth. He shook his head. "Is that what's bothering you, Doris? You've been quiet the whole ride." "I've just been so worried. That's why I haven't said much. Our house is not in any danger at all." Preston reached for the big gulp drink he'd grabbed from 7-Eleven that morning. It was just ice water now, but he still took a sip. "It's only the houses on that part of Piscataway Drive, near the water. The landslide had ravaged our neighborhood. Our Piscataway Hills community nestled against a hillside that sloped down to Piscataway Creek, a tributary of the Potomac River. Last Tuesday night, we bombarded government officials with questions, desperate for answers about the catastrophe that had struck our upscale, waterfront enclave. Answers were hard to come by. When we moved here 2 years ago, I fell in love with the area, never considering the persistent threat of falling trees. For years, cracks had been forming along Piscataway Drive, but I remained oblivious until a county official explained it to Preston and me, as we stood among a throng of anxious residents. We learned that county workers had patched the road, but water and sewer lines had broken. The Washington Suburban Sanitary Commission crews had repaired the pipes several years ago, but the lines ruptured again last Sunday due to the pressure from the shifting soil. The county official told us it began last Friday. Over 3 days, about 1,500 feet of hillside slid 3 feet toward a section of Piscataway Drive. Trees, some as tall as 200 feet, toppled, dragging power lines with them. The devastation was incomprehensible. "Maybe the land in the whole neighborhood is messed up," I said. Preston glanced over, his brow furrowed. "What do you mean?" "All the land on Piscataway Hills." "Nah. I don't think the land in the whole neighborhood's messed up. With all those hills and terrains in our neighborhood, I wouldn't be surprised." Preston shook his head. "Where our house is, I think we're gonna be fine. I want to know that when we go to sleep tonight, we won't wake up floating in the middle of Piscataway Creek." The sky above was a canvas of swirling black clouds, threatening another deluge. I rolled down the window to catch some air, the scent of imminent rain heavy in the breeze. We'd had more than enough of it already. Preston said, "Doris, all you need to know is this: the landslide that happened on Piscataway Drive doesn't affect us." His voice carried that usual confidence, the unwavering certainty that always made me feel safe. Preston was 29, short, and muscular without ever needing the gym. He played ball with his friends occasionally, but mostly, he was just blessed with a naturally perfect physique. His short, wavy hair and strong, clefted chin gave him a rugged, handsome look. People often described him as unfriendly and standoffish, but he was simply a man of few words. Sometimes he would sing to himself, way out of tune, belting out R&B songs from the 80s and 90s. Though quiet, he could be brave and wordy when necessary, which I admired. Yet, his quick temper was something I didn't like. Ironically, it was his temper that introduced us. Back when I was a senior at Bowie State College, my ex-boyfriend, Zach Harris, hit me during one of our many arguments. Zach, tall, clumsy but charming, was furious because I had broken up with him. He had cheated on me and, to add insult to injury, tried to woo my best friend, Liana, behind my back. Liana and I were hanging out at the Boulevard at the Capitol Center, an open-air shopping center in Landover, Maryland, where the Capitol Center Arena used to stand before the county demolished it. Preston was with 2 of his friends when they saw Zach and me arguing. Just before Zach smacked me, Preston stepped in, trying to explain to Zach that it was wrong to lay hands on a woman. Out of nowhere, Zach hauled off and punched Preston in the face. Wrong move, Zach. Preston rearranged Zach's charming face, almost killing him. And we've been together ever since. But Preston, how do you know that? How can you assure me of that? I asked. Trust me, Preston said, all the houses above that hill will not be in any landslides. I could see if we were on a hill. Our part of the neighborhood is flat land. I leaned back, putting my feet on the dashboard, trying to relax. Preston took another sip from his ice water, big gulp.